Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you my LEGO Swampert MOC and giving you a detailed look of the build, including its features, posability, and some of the build techniques used. Like with all my other builds I've shared on this channel, I'll have a link in the description below for both the parts file and instructions. The total part count for this MOC is 510 pieces, and at the time of the recording of this video, its estimated cost around $60 to $65 Canadian. This does not include shipping or handling, and your final cost may vary. As mentioned in my previous videos, when I designed Blaziken and Sceptile, I knew I had to do Swampert as well in order to complete the Hoenn starter evolution trio. In terms of the games and anime, Swampert is pretty high up there for me, and might even tie with Sceptile, but looking at all three, I think all the designs are very strong and iconic. In terms of the LEGO design, however, there are some areas of this build that I'm not too satisfied with, but I think I did the best that I could in capturing its overall likeness, which I'll get into more detail throughout this video. I knew before I decided to design this that I had to use the dark azure color in LEGO, since I thought it would be the best color match with the official design. The MOC design was a bit challenging since this color has a somewhat limited part selection, so in some areas I had to do a little bit out of the box thinking to try and capture its features, while also trying to add points of articulation where I could. Out of the three Hoenn starter evolutions I've built, Swampert has the highest piece count, but it stands at the lowest since it's the only quadruped out of the three. First, taking a look at the torso. Since Swampert is an amphibious Pokemon, and based off both the Mud Skipper and Axolotl, I tried to remove as many studded surfaces to make it as smooth as I could in order to mimic its slick and smooth skin. For its overall shaping, I made sure to build the lower body to be a bit wider while having it taper and become slimmer as you move up to the shoulders. I think the most prominent feature is its large tail fin, which can use from the top all the way to its underside. The fin is built with dark bluish gray pieces and uses some familiar snot techniques that I've used in the past, but I've modified it a bit to try and capture the shaping and subtle differences in the curves since it's not a perfect circle. Coming down to the underside, it's done in white, and I struggle to see what color to use here since in some of the references it appears to be white, but in others it looks like it's a lighter shade of blue. I figure since it's mostly seen on all fours, the belly might seem darker than it actually is due to its shadow, but let me know down in the comments below what color you guys think it should be here. Other than the large tail fin, the rest of the torso is pretty plain, and like with all my other MOCs, I use different tiles, curve slopes, and wedges to complete its shaping. For the legs, they're the next bulkiest part of the build, and there's only articulation at the hips and ankles. I decided to have the knees be fixed at 90 degrees here to help with the overall stability, and in most of the references I've seen, its legs are not usually stretched out fully. The hips and ankles are connected with mixed style ball joints, so you can rotate and angle each of the joints with a pretty good range of motion. The overall build of the legs are pretty simple and use mostly conventional studs on the top building, with a couple of snot pieces used just to capture the shaping better. I do think the legs are pretty simple, so this will be one area I may modify if I were to revisit this MOC again in the future. The feet are built with studs on the side, and since they're pretty big, it's pretty easy to pick up the MOC and place it down without a lot of work to get it balanced again. The arms are one of the trickier parts of this design, since as I mentioned earlier, the dark azure color is somewhat limited in LEGO, so trying to find build techniques to capture its detail in a small narrow space tends to make the design a bit more challenging. The arms have articulation at the shoulders, elbows, and each of the fingers. The shoulders and elbows use mixed style ball joints, so you can pose them around with a pretty good range of motion for each joint. Each finger can be rotated and are just done with two pieces. Since there weren't a lot of modified plates with bars in this color, I ended up using two of these modified bricks with a vertical bar instead, which I think is a unique use for this piece, but it captures the overall look of the hand quite well. I will say that some of the pieces used for the arms were a bit pricey on Bricklink, so I would say check the LEGO Pick-a-Brick site in case they're cheaper there. The head was probably the most challenging part of this design, since I went through many different iterations to try and capture the shaping and look for the face. I had to compromise a bit to get the look for the eyes, since the best piece I saw that could be used here were these 1x1 hollow studs in orange, but this piece can be pretty expensive and hard to source since they only came in one set, which was in the Unikitty CMF series. If you're unable to get this piece, then the second closest match will be the trans orange hollow stud, which is more widely available. I personally use the orange one here since I had a couple already in my collection, but for the parts file, I've included both colors just in case you're unable to get the orange ones. Hopefully LEGO releases this piece again either on the Pick-a-Brick site or in future sets, since it would be good to have this piece in this color again. I usually don't like using this hollow stud to capture the look for the eyes because I think it makes the face look kinda derpy or that Swampert has seen some stuff. Aside from this, the rest of the head came along much smoother, and I was pretty satisfied with the overall shaping I got for the front and with the teeth as well. I decided to brick build its head fins in order to keep a smooth and consistent look on all sides, and they're just connected with a hinge brick, which also lets them be angled out like this. The entire head is attached with a mixed style ball joint, so you can pose it around to give it some different looks or expressions. And you can even open the jaw quite wide, but I usually just have it slightly open, since any wider than this, it just emphasizes the derpy and spaced out look it already has. Finally, for a sense of scale, this is how it looks compared to a minifigure. And as an added bonus, this is how it looks scaled up to the other two Hoenn starter evolutions. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this MOC, as well as any suggestions for my next build, and I may just pick yours for a future video. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.